Good morning, my fantasticos. Assistant Teacher Panda is going to help me read the next chapter. We are on to chapter 47 in the book Fish in a Tree. All right. Yeah, you're very helpful. Okay. Chapter 47. Great minds don't think alike. Mr. Daniels looks really happy as he makes an announcement to us one morning. Today, my fantasticos, we're going to jump from our social studies unit and talk a little about some famous people. People I bet some of you know. He takes out pictures and stands them up on the tray of the board. They almost cover the length of it, and I worry that we will have a test or have to write about our favorite. Mr. Daniels seems electric. I'll say the name, and then you tell me if you know what they're famous for. Deal? No need to raise your hand, just call it out. Wow, he's breaking the biggest teacher rule ever. He points to the first picture. Thomas Edison. Wait, I know who that is. I squeak out, he invented the light bulb? Great, Allie. But if you know, don't answer like a question. State your answer. I imagine myself at a podium in front of thousands of people, arms in the air, declaring my answer. What about this one? He asks. Max says Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone. I did a report on him. Most excellent work, Mr. Daniels said. The next one is George Washington. Everyone knows that one. Henry Ford? He asks. He invented the car, I declare. Well, he did begin Ford Motor Company, but he didn't invent the car. He perfected the assembly line, which is a very clever way to build lots of cars fast. Oh. Allie, how do you know about these inventors? My mom bought me a DVD called Schoolhouse Rock. It has a cartoon about inventors. Ah, yes, Schoolhouse Rock is awesome. Next one, Albert Einstein. He says this one like he's introducing someone on a game show. Albert raises his hand. Yes, Albert? Albert Einstein was born in Germany on March 14, 1879. He is considered the greatest human mind to ever have lived in the fields of physics, mathematics, and philosophy. He has changed all of science with his ideas. My father says that the field of science was like Pinocchio, the puppet. Einstein changed it into a real boy. Does he really? Mr. Daniels laughs. That's brilliant. Is your father a scientist, Albert? Yes, sir. He named me after Albert Einstein. I know a lot about him. Keisha whispers to him, Is that why you style your hair after him? She turns to me. My boy has never seen a comb. Style my hair? Albert asks, confused. Mr. Daniels walks back towards the picture. I have a feeling that Albert's father is quite a scientist indeed. We go through the rest of the pictures. Leonardo da Vinci, the famous painter, the Mona Lisa, and gifted inventor. Pablo Picasso, another famous painter who created a modern style that no one has ever seen before. Patricia Polacco, a talented illustrator and author. Whoopi Goldberg, hilarious comedian and actress. Henry Winkler, famous actor and author. Muhammad Ali, who's world heavyweight boxing champion. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. Winston Churchill, Prime Minister of England during World War II. His intelligence and grit kept the Nazis from taking over England. In fact, all of these people had grit to spare. Grit. I like that word. John Lennon, musician of the Beatles. Walt Disney, the creator of Mickey Mouse. Then Mr. Daniels stands back. Don't you all agree that this is a stunning group of talent? Is there anyone here that would be willing to stand up and say any of these people were stupid? Everyone shakes their heads. Albert gave us a great rundown of Albert Einstein. But did you know that he was kicked out of school when he was young? His report card said he was too slow to amount to anything. He couldn't memorize months of the year. In fact, he had trouble tying his shoes. But he was and remains one of the greatest minds that we've ever seen. I remember when I had a hard time tying my shoes. Travis sat with me for a long time, teaching me the baby way where you make the rabbit ears. I stare at Einstein's picture with this crazy white hair that looks like he had an accident with a light socket. How could he figure out something like time travel and not know the months of the calendar? Mr. Daniels says, some people say that John Lennon is the most gifted, spiritual musician ever. He walks over and points to Walt Disney. What about this guy? Did you know he was told by a teacher that he wasn't creative enough? He moves over. How about Henry Ford? He was born understanding how an engine should work. He knew without studying it. Hey, it's kind of like Travis, I think. He walks towards the windows, knew exactly how it should go together. He never went to school for it, but he was such a genius with machines. He worked as Thomas Edison's engineer for a while. He built his first car by hand building a motor, putting it between two bicycles. And with his idea of using a moving assembly line, he ushered in a new world. He walks back towards the board. You know what all these people had in common? He asks the class. Then he stands in front of my desks and looks me dead in the eye. Many people believe that they all had dyslexia. I feel it in my gut. In fact, I feel it everywhere. He smiles a bit. That's right. As children, they struggled to read even simple words. And based on some other clues as well, most experts now believe that they had dyslexia. But of course, we know their struggles weren't because they were stupid. It's just their minds worked differently. And thank goodness they did, because otherwise we may not have telephones or light bulbs or stunning works of art. Oh, and we wouldn't have Mickey Mouse. He is quiet for a while. I think he's letting it sink in. So then, for your homework, I have an extra credit assignment. He turns, and on the smart board, there is writing. And there is writing. The class is already complaining that they can't read it, complaining that it makes no sense. It's a code, he says. Each letter stands for another. Extra credit for anyone who can crack it. It isn't exactly like reading with dyslexia, but it will give you a taste of just how hard it is, how long it takes for someone to be able to read who has dyslexia. Then he looks at me, and how smart you have to be to persevere. He dismisses us and everyone starts to get ready to go home. But I'm still staring at the pictures of all those famous people and wondering if they felt like me when they were young. Did they feel stupid? Did they wonder what would become of them? Mr. Daniel squats next to me. Allie? Although the room is loud, it's like the sounds are far away. Are you okay, Allie? Mr. Daniels asks. I turn to him and have to clear my throat before speaking. Is it true? All those people there. I look back at the pictures. All those people couldn't read like me? Indeed, he says, smiling. Not that they couldn't read. They just needed to learn a different way. That's all. He puts an oval-shaped piece of metal in front of me. This is a paperweight, he says. It's a gift for you. For me? Yes, look, he points at each word as he reads them. Never, never, never quit. Winston Churchill. I pick it up. It's heavy. I'm not giving it to you as a reminder, because I know that you will keep at it. I've really gotten a sense lately of how hard you've had to work to learn what you have. And, he says laughing, you fooled a lot of smart people. So how smart does that make you? I swallow hard. I'm giving it to you because I want you to know that I've noticed. And that you're going to be okay, Allie. He leans forward a bit. Better than okay, actually. My head swims with all that's changed. in school, and in me. That is the end of chapter 47. Now, my question, what does Mr. Daniels' extra credit code say? Why do you think he gave the assignment to the class? Let me know your responses, and if you are able to figure it out, get a sense of how hard it can be to read with someone, for someone with dyslexia.